Are you tired of high gas prices? Or do you feel like the world around you is becoming a much crueler place and there's nothing you can do about it? Well, I'm here to offer a solution to it all. Today I'll be providing the facts that will convince you all to agree that I, Rich Turner, need to be President of the United States. I'll mainly talk about the ideas and statistics over the past few weeks I have extensively researched the ups and downs in many presidential administrations. I'll mainly go talk about the ideas and statistics in the recent Obama administration though, because most people here will be able to relate, of course. First, let's start with gas. Gas prices have officially doubled in President Obama's first term. In fact, while just barely, Obama has seen an even higher gas price increase than Carter dealt with under his administration. According to Katie Pavlich, news editor for townhall.com, under the Carter administration, gas prices increased by 103.77%. Gas prices since Obama took office have risen by 103.79%. No other presidents in recent years have struggled as much with soaring oil prices. When Bill Clinton was president, gas prices grew by roughly 30%, and in both the Bush presidencies, gas prices grew by 20%. So you can tell something here is going wrong that's not being fixed. The Obama administration is doubling down on loans for green energy despite a slew of failures and bankrupt companies, all at the expense of the taxpayers. Now, I don't know where the president's morals are, that just isn't right. Why should the average Joes like you and I continue to suffer? I propose that these new green energy gas companies be government-owned. This way, the prices can easily be controlled and the profits go back into our government in order to pay for more gas stations, gas of course, and take over other needs for the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. So not only will this proposal keep a few more bucks in your pockets, but pressure the owner of gas companies who will now be hurting financially to lower their gas prices or quickly go out of business. And nobody wants to go out of business, so, really, I'm almost guaranteeing lower gas prices around the nation. To prevent the burden of having to pay for gas so often, a small profit of the new green energy gas companies will go toward funding for research on alternative fuels, as well as cars that can thoroughly run on them. For those of us who don't know this, there are oils out there that are produced from corn, or that are derived from vegetable oil, or that can be produced domestically from fossil fuels like coal. Coal, the big black ice cube looking things that you guys use once a year to barbecue and just put them in the garage and forget about them. Why not take advantage of these household items that we take for granted? But meanwhile, we should take advantage of the easily obtainable electric and highly fuel-efficient cars. Let me say this. One of the first things that I do in my office is make a presidential decree that will make it illegal to design these fuel-efficient cars and electric cars and make them look so damn ugly. Don't get me wrong though, Prius and smart cars are great cars, I'm sure, but come on, let's be honest. Nobody wants to go to the club in a smart car. You get to bring one other person, and if you meet someone, you can't even take them home. That's a recipe for disaster. Speaking of disaster, let's get serious. That brings me to my next point, taxes. When it comes to taxes, should they be lowered? Or should they maybe be a little higher? Well, that's $1 million question. Wealthy taxpayers will see a big jump in their tax bills under President Obama's latest budget proposal. According to a new independent analysis, in fact, those in the top 1% of income will see an average tax increase of nearly $109,000 in 2015. According to the Tax Policy Center, nearly 63% of tax filters with incomes between $100,000 and $200,000 will see a large tax burden. But those making $200,000 to $500,000, of whom 73% will get a tax hike, will pay $5,000 more on average. In my eyes, this is all unnecessary. What would I do to help the situation, you might ask? Well, I will legalize marijuana. Now hear me out before you start to judge. According to Ronnie Chopra, a former professor at the University of Southern California and a writer for the website SeekingAlpha.com, there are from 50 to 60 million people in the U.S. alone who have smoked marijuana at least once in their life. When regular pot smokers are factored in, That is approximately up to an estimated $50 to $100 billion in revenue per year. Now, if this is a business owned and regulated by the government and open to the public, there wouldn't be a need for a tax increase of any kind for the hardworking taxpayers. In fact, a high tax on marijuana and tobacco would increase revenue to the government and would opt for talk of lowering taxes for taxpayers. Marijuana is only legal in a certain amount of states now, and it is a booming business. Allowing marijuana dispensaries to open up nationwide will not only shed a light to the tax problem in our nation, but it will also open up many new jobs and help out with the next major topic I'd like to talk to you all about, unemployment. Obama said he would urge Congress next week to implement common sense ideas to accelerate job growth. We've got to do more if we're going to recover all the jobs lost in the recession, he told a group of students in Washington suburbs of Virginia. The unemployment rate, which soared to as high as 10% during Obama's first year in office, held near 9% for most of last year before falling sharply over the winter. Even with the latest decline, the jobless rate remains 2 percentage points higher than the average over the last 50 years, and the Fed thinks the labor market probably won't be at full health until at least 2014. But I say that's too much time. If the unemployed cannot find jobs, we need to create them. With millions of jobs ready to open up around the nation due to my presidency and quick-witted ideas of new gas companies and marijuana dispensaries, the unemployment rate should go down in no time. I have also devised a plan that includes allowing workers in high-end, long-term jobs to retire earlier in their lives. With newfound revenues to our government, we can add extra money to retirement checks and 401k benefits. Lower gas prices only further savings and allow for earlier home payoffs and therefore decrease the need for monthly check from a job to comfortably live. As the rate of retirement increases, so do job openings. According to Mitt Romney, a candidate in the upcoming election, Obama has lost 800,000 jobs during his presidency, and over 92% of the jobs were lost by women. If I was in office, I would personally take this matter into my own hands. All women who have lost their jobs can come live with me at the White House until they get back on their feet. And that's a promise. In conclusion, you all now know what I will do as president of the U.S. to help lower gas prices, lower taxes, and create more jobs to cure unemployment. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you.
Tana, what did you think?
It was really good. It was really well spoken, and it had a lot of humor, which got us engaged. And all of his information was really credible, and I believed everything he said. And he had a good twist on everything. The only thing was the intro never really set up like what was in the speech. The attention device had to do with gas, and that was only one part of the speech. But other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's kind of an interesting idea. You could deliver this as a satire on the process that's going on and a critique of the political system and the current administration, for instance. And I think that that's okay. The idea of electing you seem like a nice enough guy, but first of all, you got to be 35 to be president. You're not even close, so that doesn't work, so that's not very practical. And of course, you're not really a declared candidate. So, you have to treat it as a facetious thing. And I think you do that in a couple of spots, like when you say, all those unemployed women, they can come live with me at the White House. I think, everybody kind of responds to that, and they know that that's funny. But what you have to do is you then have to, once you've got people with the funny bone stuff, and you've got them, you need to hone in on the point